Before we do our recitations, I want to acknowledge that we have some first-time guests joining us this morning. So just for you all to know that everything you need for the recitations are on the screen as usual, and that I assume you have the PDF. If you don't, raise your hand and someone in the back will help you find the text, okay? So we'll start with our homage to Manjushri. Homage to Manjuru, protector Manjushri, who holds to his heart a scriptural text symbolic of his seeing all things as they are. Wisdom shines forth like the sun, unclouded by the two obscurations, who teaches in 60 ways with the loving compassion of a parent for their only child. All wanderers caught in the prison of samsara, confused in the darkness of their ignorance, overwhelmed by suffering, you whose dragon thunder like proclamation of Dharma rouses us from the stupor of our afflictions and frees us from the iron chains of our karma, who wields the sword of wisdom, hewing down suffering where its sprouts appear, clearing the darkness of ignorance. You whose princely body is adorned with 112 marks of a Buddha, you completed the stages achieving the highest perfection of a bodhisattva who has been pure from the beginning. I bow down to you, O Manjushri. Oh, with the brilliance of your wisdom, and wisdom, so that I may gain insight into Buddha's words and the texts that explain them. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddhist, the Dharma, and the Saṅgha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddhist, the Dharma, and the Saṅgha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddhist, the Dharma, and the Saṅgha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings.
Okay, so let's take a few minutes to generate a particularly powerful, positive, virtuous motivation. So it's the fourth and final day of our Resounding event, and it's also Saka Dawa, which is probably the most important day of the year for Buddhists. It's the day we commemorate the three important events in the life of the Buddha: his birth in Lumbini, his attainment of awakening under the Bodhi tree in Bodhgaya, and his passing away or parinirvana in Kushinagar at the age of 80. So I think that having spent the last 3 days reciting some of the words of the Buddha in this beautiful text, we probably all feel closer to the Buddha, more appreciative, more devoted, more inspired. And so hopefully that will enhance our wish to make the most of this day. And it's said that any merit we accumulate on this day is multiplied 300 million times. And that's 100 million for each of those three significant events. And so it's a really great opportunity to focus on merit-making activities. So why we need merit? It's pretty much the same as virtue. It's the cause of happiness. We all want happiness, and virtue is the cause of happiness. And also to make progress on the path, to be able to attain our long-term goal of enlightenment, and also being able to attain the different stages of the path, the different realizations as we go along the path, and also having good conditions in all our future lives so that we can continue to follow the path. We need good rebirths, healthy bodies, food, and so forth. So all of that comes about through merit, through virtue. And also for this life's happiness, our physical, mental, spiritual well-being. So merit is the cause of that. So we need tons of merit. And that's why these merit multiplying days are helpful. We can create lots of merit. So people often wonder, how come on certain days the merit that's created is multiplied compared to other days? So Geshe Zopa gives an explanation of that in volume 1 of his Steps on the Path. It has to do with the gods. So we've been meeting some of these gods in the sutra. And so the gods keep an eye on what us human beings are up to. And when they see us doing virtuous things, they are rejoicing. They are so happy because they want us to be happy. They're not happy when we make war and do all kinds of other non-virtuous things, but when we do virtuous things, they are so happy. So they rejoice. And then the good news spreads on the God's grapevine, and it goes to higher and higher God realms, and eventually to lots, millions, billions of gods are rejoicing. And that means they are creating virtue by rejoicing in our virtue. And because our virtue is the basis for their rejoicing, then it causes our virtue to be multiplied. And of course, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are also fully aware. They're here with us and they're aware of what we're doing, and they are also happy too. So knowing that our virtue is making others happy, then that should make us happy. And so we're reciting this incredible sutra, and that is a merit-making activity. It's also a way of purifying. You know, one of the recommended practices to purify our negative karma is to recite sutras, recite the words of the Buddha. So we're really fortunate that we have this opportunity to do this practice today. And also another important way to maximize our merit and ensure the merit we create becomes an actual cause of enlightenment is to include both types of bodhicitta, conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta, in our motivation. So these two are equivalent to the two wings of the bird to fly to enlightenment, method and wisdom. So conventional bodhicitta is what we normally understand as bodhicitta, and you've probably already generated that this morning, so just keep that in mind, that our reason for doing all the things we're doing today, all the virtuous actions, is to become Buddhas ourselves and benefit all sentient beings. So that's conventional bodhicitta. The other bodhicitta is called ultimate bodhicitta, and that's actually the understanding of emptiness, the wisdom understanding emptiness, which is supported by or conjoined with conventional bodhicitta. So to generate that, you can bring to mind whatever understanding you have of emptiness. For example, just to think the I that is sitting here, reading and reciting this sutra, it's not something existing inherently, independently from its own side, like a real solid I. That kind of I doesn't exist anywhere in our body and mind. Instead, the I that is that does things is just what is labeled or designated in relation to our body and mind. So there's this physical body, and then all the different aspects of our mind, the different aggregates that make us up. So in relation to all these parts of body and mind, we say I. So that's all there is, the merely designated I. And then the action that we're doing, the action of reciting, is also not something that exists inherently, independently from its own side. That too is just labeled or designated in relation to our body and mind. Like our our eyes and our brain are working to read the sutra, and then our mouth and vocal cords, our tongue and teeth are reciting it out loud. So just in relation to those parts of our body and mind actively engaged in reading, we say reading or reciting. It's not existing inherently, independently on its own. Then the object that we are reciting also doesn't exist inherently or independently on its own from its own side. So the sutra came into existence. It depends on many, many factors and causes and conditions, starting with the Buddha's wisdom and skill and means in teaching this sutra, but also the listeners who were there listening to, some of them memorizing, and then later scribes who wrote it down, people who transported it to different places, different countries, different parts of the world, translators translating it into different languages, practitioners reading it, studying it, meditating on it, keeping it alive. So many, many factors involved in this sutra existing today for us to be able to read and recite. So none of these three aspects of this action, they're called the three circles or three spheres, the subject, the one who's doing the action that's being done, and the object of the action. So none of these exist inherently, independently from their own side. So they're empty of that way of existing, inherent in independent existence. That's their ultimate nature, their true nature. So trying to understand that and keep that in mind as we are doing this action of reciting the sutra. So that that brings in the wisdom aspect. And as we saw yesterday when we were reading one of the chapters, actions that are done with the transcendent state of wisdom become much more powerful, much more meritorious than actions that are done without the transcendent state of wisdom. So let's do our best today with this reciting of the sutra and everything else we do, like during the break times, other things we can do that are virtuous. For example, rejoicing in the virtue, the merit created by others. So today, all over the world, in Buddhist temples and monasteries, Buddhist centers, lots of people are creating virtue. They're reading sutras like us. They're making offerings, they're doing meditation and prayers and so on, generating positive states of mind. So we can think of all the other virtue that's being created by other people and rejoice in that.
Thank you so much, Venerable Sangha Khandro. And good morning, everyone. On our last day of reciting the Transcendent State of Wisdom in 8,000 Lines, this morning we are going to have a cluster of 5 shorter chapters. As usual, I know there are a couple of people who are here newly today. So our procedure is to read each chapter, and then at the end, just take a brief pause to refresh and reset, and then move on to the next chapter. And at the beginning, we'll just have a quiet moment together, and then I'll ring the gong and we'll begin. Chapter 22, Virtuous Friends. Then the Blessed One once again addressed Subhuti. Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being who has set out with an altruistic disposition and wishes to realize unsurpassed perfect awakening, should attend virtuous friends, be devoted to them, and serve them right from the start. Subhuti asked, Blessed One, if a bodhisattva great being has set out with the altruistic disposition and wishes to realize unsurpassed perfect awakening, which of the many possible spirituous friends should he or she attend, be devoted to, and serve? At this, the Blessed One said to the Venerable Subhuti, Subhuti, only the blessed Buddhas and the bodhisattva great beings beyond regressing, who are skilled in the bodhisattva's way of going about life, can instruct and guide him or her in the transcendent states, and can teach and expound to him or her this transcendent state of wisdom. So, Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being should understand them to be his or her virtuous friends. But also, Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being should understand the transcendent state of wisdom, in particular, to be his or her virtuous friend, and, in fact, Subhuti, all 6 transcendent states to be his or her virtuous friends. That is to say, precisely these 6 transcendent states are the teacher. The 6 transcendent states are the path. The 6 transcendent states are the sight. The 6 transcendent states are the torch. The 6 transcendent states are the radiance. The 6 transcendent states are the shelter. The 6 transcendent states are the refuge. The 6 transcendent states are the sanctuary. The 6 transcendent states are the ultimate resort. The 6 transcendent states are the island. The 6 transcendent states are the mother. The 6 transcendent states are the father. The 6 transcendent states lead to knowledge and realization and progress to unsurpassed perfect awakening. What is the cause for this? Subhuti, the cause is that the transcendent state of wisdom is consummate within them, that is to say, within these 6 transcendent states. So, Subhuti, those previous worthy, perfectly and completely awakened Tathāgatas who attained complete nirvana had the blessed Buddha's state of complete knowing that is only born from these, that is to say, from the 6 transcendent states. Also, Subhuti, those future worthy, perfectly and completely awakened Tathāgatas who will realize unsurpassed perfect awakening will have the blessed Buddha's state of complete knowing that is only born from these, that is to say, from the 6 transcendent states. Perfectly and completely awakened Tathāgatas who are now residing, staying, and spending time, and who are realizing unsurpassed perfect awakening in immeasurable, innumerable, unlimited, inconceivable world systems. They too have the blessed Buddha's state of complete knowing that is only born from these, that is to say, from the 6 transcendent states. Subhuti, I too am the worthy, perfectly and completely awakened Tathāgata who has at this moment realized unsurpassed perfect awakening. And indeed, my state of complete knowing was only born from these, that is to say, from the 6 transcendent states. How so? Because, Subhuti, the 6 transcendent states include all the awakened qualities, that is, the 37 factors in awakening, the 4 immeasurable states, the 4 ways of attracting disciples, and any and every other awakened quality of a Buddha. They include also the knowing of a Buddha, which is to say, the knowing of a self-existent one, the knowing of an inconceivable one, the knowing of an incomparable one, the knowing of an immeasurable one, the knowing of an incalculable one, the knowing of an unequaled one, the knowing of one equal to the unequaled, and the knowing of someone who has complete knowing. Therefore, Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being should understand the virtuous friends to be none other than the 6 transcendent states. The 6 transcendent states alone are the teacher. The 6 transcendent states are the path. The 6 transcendent states are the sight. The 6 transcendent states are the torch. The 6 transcendent states are the radiance. The 6 transcendent states are the shelter. The 6 transcendent states are the refuge. The 6 transcendent states are the sanctuary. The 6 transcendent states are the ultimate resort. The 6 transcendent states are the island. The 6 transcendent states are the mother. The 6 transcendent states are the father. The 6 transcendent states lead to knowledge and realization and progress to attain unsurpassed perfect awakening. When a bodhisattva great being trains in the 6 transcendent states, he or she becomes, in effect, a protector to all sentient beings without any protector. Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being who wishes to train in the 6 transcendent states should listen to this very transcendent state of wisdom, take it in, keep it in mind, chant it, master it, pass it on, teach it, expound it, its truth and its method. He or she should also reflect, meditate, inquire, and fully pursue his or her questions. Why? Because as foremost among the 6 transcendent states, the transcendent state of wisdom is the guide, the leader, the beacon, the paragon, the mother who gives birth, and the mother who nurses. Why? Because without the transcendent state of wisdom, the 5 other transcendent states would neither be distinguished nor designated as transcendent states. Therefore, Subhuti, any bodhisattva great being who wishes not to be led astray by others should train in this very transcendent state of wisdom. Subhuti asked, Blessed One, what is the defining characteristic of the transcendent state of wisdom? At this, the Blessed One said to Subhuti, Subhuti, the defining characteristic of the transcendent state of wisdom is non-attachment. Subhuti asked, Blessed One, defining characteristic of non-attachment that the transcendent state of wisdom is observed with. Yes, Subhuti, yes, said the Blessed One. In a manner of speaking, it could be said that all things would be observed with the very same characteristic of non-attachment that the transcendent state of wisdom is observed with. How so? Because, Subhuti, all things are void and empty. Therefore, Subhuti, all things which are void and empty are observed with the very same defining characteristic of non-attachment that the transcendent state of wisdom, which is void and empty, is observed with. Subhuti asked, Blessed One, if all things are void and empty, Blessed One, how could someone wisely discern the defilement of sentient beings? How, Blessed One, could someone wisely discern the purification of sentient beings? Also, Blessed One, something void is not defiled and not purified. And, Blessed One, something empty is not defiled and not purified. Moreover, Blessed One, something void and empty cannot realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. And, Blessed One cannot mentally perceive a thing apart from that voidness and emptiness that has realized unsurpassed perfect awakening, is realizing it, or will come to realize it. So how do we understand the meaning of what you have described? Please teach us, Blessed One. Please teach us, Sugata. At this, the Blessed One asked Subhuti, Subhuti, what do you think? Do sentient beings go about life for a long time in the conceits of me and mine? Yes, Blessed One. Yes, Sugata, said Subhuti. Go about life for a long time in the conceits of me and mine. The Blessed One asked, Subhuti, what do you think? Are the conceits of me and mine empty? They are empty, Blessed One. Empty, Sugata, said Subhuti. The Blessed One asked, Subhuti, what do you think? Are sentient beings going around in cyclic existence because of the conceits of me and mine? Yes, Blessed One. Yes, Sugata, said Subhuti. Sentient beings are going around in cyclic existence because of the conceits of me and mine. Blessed One, someone wisely discerns the defilement of sentient beings as follows. If sentient beings have conceptual grasping and habitual fixation, then there is defilement. But in this case, no one is defiled. And yet, Subhuti, someone does not wisely discern them as having the conceits of me and mine, as long as they have no conceptual grasping or habitual fixation. Likewise, Subhuti, someone wisely discerns the purification of sentient beings as follows. If sentient beings have no conceptual grasping or habitual fixation, then there is purification. But in this case, no one becomes purified. Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being, going about life in this way, goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. Thus, Subhuti, even though all things are void and empty, he or she wisely discerns the defilement and purification of sentient beings. Subhuti said, Blessed One, it is wonderful that even though all things are void and empty, he or she wisely discerns the defilement and purification of sentient beings. It is wonderful that a bodhisattva great being, going about life in this way, goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. This is because a bodhisattva great being who goes about life like this does not go about life in physical forms, feelings, conceptions, conditioning factors, or consciousness. One, a bodhisattva great being going about life in this way cannot be conquered by anyone in the world with its gods, humans, and asuras. Blessed One, a bodhisattva great being going about life in this way surpasses the way of going about life for persons belonging to the paths of the disciples or of the solitary realizers, and will attain a state that is unsurpassable. How so? Because, Blessed One, the state of a Buddha, a Tathāgata, a self-existent being, and someone who has complete knowing is unsurpassable. Also, Blessed One, night and day, state of attentiveness associated with the transcendent state of wisdom, then he or she would approach unsurpassed perfect awakening and quickly realize it. Yes, Subhuti, yes, said the Blessed One. A bodhisattva great being who goes about life in this way does not go about life in physical forms. Likewise, he or she does not go about life in feelings, conceptions, conditioning factors, or consciousness. Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being going about life in this way cannot be conquered by the world with its gods, humans, and asuras. Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being going about life in this way surpasses the way of going about life for persons belonging to the paths of the disciples or of the solitary realizers, and he or she will attain a state that is unsurpassable. Why is that? Because, Subhuti, the state of a Buddha, a Tathāgata, a self-existent being, and one with complete knowing is unsurpassable. Also, Subhuti, if a bodhisattva great being were to spend his or her time, night and day, abiding in the state of attentiveness associated with the transcendent state of wisdom, he or she would approach unsurpassed perfect awakening and quickly realize it. Subhuti, suppose every sentient being on the Jambu continent were to obtain a human being's physical body all at once. Suppose that after obtaining a human body, each were to develop the proper mindset for unsurpassed perfect awakening. Suppose that after developing the proper mindset for unsurpassed perfect awakening, each were to remain in it throughout their lives. And while remaining in it throughout their lives, each were to pay tribute to all the Tathāgatas, revere them, respect them, venerate them, honor them, and tend to them throughout their lives. Also, suppose that each were to give gifts in the same way to all sentient beings. Finally, suppose each were to dedicate those gifts to unsurpassed perfect awakening. Subhuti, what do you think? Based on this, would the bodhisattva great being earn much merit? A great amount, Blessed One. A great amount, Sugata, said Subhuti. The Blessed One said, Subhuti, who abides in the attentive mental states associated with the transcendent state of wisdom, for even so much as a single day would earn an even greater amount of merit than this. Why is that? Because, Subhuti, the more that a bodhisattva great being abides in the attentive mental states associated with the transcendent state of wisdom, night and day, the more he or she becomes worthy of veneration by sentient beings. Why is that? Because, Subhuti, the mindset associated with benevolence that a bodhisattva great being has is not like that of anyone else, except for the blessed Buddhas. Why is that? Because, Subhuti, the Tathāgatas have no counterpart. Subhuti, the Tathāgatas are incomparable. Subhuti, the worthy, perfectly and completely awakened Tathāgatas possess inconceivable qualities. So how does a noble son or daughter produce that much merit? Through the kind of wisdom that a bodhisattva great being possesses. He or she sees all sentient beings as though they are on the way to the slaughter. And at that very moment, he or she is gripped by great compassion. Beholding them with his or her divine eye, such a bodhisattva great being sees immeasurable, innumerable, unlimited, and illimitable sentient beings whose karmic deeds lead to the immediate consequences of obtaining inauspicious births, being destroyed, not finding the path, and getting caught up in the web of erroneous beliefs. He also sees others who have obtained auspicious births wasting their good fortune. At these moments, a bodhisattva great being feels extremely moved. Throbbing with deep benevolence and great compassion, he or she focuses mentally upon sentient beings, thinking, I must become a protector for all these sentient beings. I must liberate all these sentient beings from their suffering. Yet such a bodhisattva great being does not live embroiled with this conventional sign or any other, because, Subhuti, he or she also is filled with the great light of wisdom to realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. Subhuti, those bodhisattva great beings who abide in such a state accept that they are worthy of veneration by the whole world, but do not turn away from unsurpassed perfect awakening. Since their mindset is perfectly established in this transcendent state of wisdom, those bodhisattva great beings purify the gifts and devotional offerings of those donors and patrons on whose behalf they enjoy the robes, alms, accommodation, preventive medicines, and other requisites, while approaching the state of complete knowing. Therefore, Subhuti, any bodhisattva great being should bring to mind the attentive mental states associated with the transcendent state of wisdom if he or she wishes to unerringly enjoy the alms of the realm, wishes to expound the path to all sentient beings, to help their radiance expand, wishes to liberate all sentient beings in cyclic existence from that cyclic existence, and wishes to purify the way they see. So if a bodhisattva great being wishes to abide in such attentiveness, then he or she should bring to mind these types of attentiveness associated with the transcendent state of wisdom. Why is that? It is because any bodhisattva great being who wishes to bring these to mind should be attentive to nothing but this. He or she should not leave the room for any other attentiveness that lacks the transcendent state of wisdom. Can spend night and day in the attentive mental states associated with the transcendent state of wisdom. Subhuti, as an analogy, it is just as if a certain man, knowledgeable about jewels and their different varieties, were to obtain a valuable jewel that he had not obtained before. Upon obtaining that jewel, he would be filled with extremely immense joy and delight. But if his jewel were to disappear, then because of that, he would be filled with great suffering and despair. With his attentiveness only connected to the valuable jewel, he would keep on thinking, oh, I have become disconnected from such a valuable jewel. Indeed, he would never forget such a valuable jewel until he could regain either that very same valuable jewel or an equivalent one with the same positive qualities. Subhuti, in this very same way, a bodhisattva great being who has lost the valuable jewel of the transcendent state of wisdom, just like someone with a valuable jewel who has lost that valuable jewel, might lose attentiveness to the transcendent state of wisdom. But he or she would perceive its value and would seek this transcendent state of wisdom scripture. And with his or her mind set on the state of complete knowing, he or she would never lack attentiveness to the transcendent state of wisdom until he or she were to find either that very same one or a different one. The whole time he or she would never lack the attentive mental states associated with the obtainment of the valuable jewel of the transcendent state of wisdom, or lack the attentive mental states associated with the obtainment of the valuable jewel of the state of complete knowing. Subhuti said, "But Blessed One, the Blessed One has taught that all things and all attentive mental states lack inherent nature and are empty. So Blessed One, how could a Bodhisattva great being never lack the attentive mental states associated with the transcendent state of wisdom and associated with the state of complete knowing?" At this, the Blessed One said to Subhuti, "Subhuti, if a Bodhisattva great being pays attention to all things lacking in inherent nature and being empty of inherent nature, then, by paying attention like this, he or she never lacks the attentive mental states associated with the transcendent state of wisdom or the attentive mental states associated with the state of complete knowing." Why is that? Because, Subhuti, the transcendent state of wisdom is empty and never increases or decreases. Subhuti asked, "Blessed One, if the transcendent state of wisdom is empty and never increases or decreases, then, Blessed One, how could a Bodhisattva great being come to attain awakening without the transcendent state of wisdom increasing? And how could he or she realize unsurpassed perfect awakening?" At this, the Blessed One said to Subhuti, "Subhuti, a Bodhisattva great being going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom neither increases nor decreases. A Bodhisattva great being is empty and never increases or decreases, in just the same way that the transcendent state of wisdom is empty and never increases or decreases. Hence, a Bodhisattva great being comes to attain awakening and realizes unsurpassed perfect awakening because that transcendent state of wisdom is empty and never increases or decreases, in just the same way that a Bodhisattva great being is empty and never increases or decreases." Is being taught, a Bodhisattva great being is not frightened, terrified, stricken with terror, or disheartened. Then, Subhuti, one can be certain that this Bodhisattva great being goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. Subhuti asked, "But, Blessed One, does the transcendent state of wisdom go about life in the transcendent state of wisdom?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, "But, Blessed One, does the emptiness of the transcendent state of wisdom go about life in the transcendent state of wisdom?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, "But Blessed One, other than the emptiness of the transcendent state of wisdom, is there anything that goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom that is mentally perceived?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. "But Blessed One, does emptiness go about life in the transcendent state of wisdom?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, "But Blessed One, is there anything in emptiness that goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom that is mentally perceived?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, "But Blessed One, does emptiness go about life in emptiness?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. He asked, "But Blessed One, do physical forms go about life in the transcendent state of wisdom?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, "But Blessed One, do feelings, conceptions, conditioning factors, and consciousness go about life in the transcendent state of wisdom?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, "But Blessed One, apart from physical forms, is there anything that goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom that is mentally perceived?" "Subhuti, not at all," said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, but Blessed One, apart from feelings, conceptions, conditioning factors, and consciousness, anything that goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom that is mentally perceived? Subhuti, not at all, said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, then, Blessed One, how could a bodhisattva great being go about life in the transcendent state of wisdom? At this, the Blessed One asked the Venerable Subhuti, Subhuti, do you identify a thing that goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom? Blessed One, not at all, said Subhuti. The Blessed One asked, Subhuti, do you identify that transcendent state of wisdom in which a bodhisattva great being goes about life? Blessed One, not at all, said Subhuti. One asked, Subhuti, think, do you identify anything that is free from mental perception? Has that very thing arisen? Will it arise, or is it arising? Ceased, will it cease, or is it ceasing? Blessed One, not at all, said Subhuti. The Blessed One said, thus, Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being has this kind of acceptance that all things are free of arising. And, Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being with this kind of acceptance is foreordained for unsurpassed perfect awakening. Subhuti, that bodhisattva great being is treading the path to a Tathāgata's grounds for self-confidence. In life, striving and making efforts in this way, it is impossible that such a bodhisattva great being would not arrive at the unsurpassed knowing of a Buddha, the knowing of someone who has complete knowing, or the knowing of a great Kairan. Subhuti asked, Blessed One, is that true nature of all things being free of arising, something foreordained for unsurpassed perfect awakening? Subhuti, not at all, said the Blessed One. Subhuti asked, but Blessed One, how could there be foreordaining for unsurpassed perfect awakening for such a thing? The Blessed One asked in return, Subhuti, do you identify anything that is ordaining for unsurpassed perfect awakening? Blessed One, not at all, said Subhuti. I do not identify a thing that has been foreordained, will be foreordained, or is being foreordained for unsurpassed perfect awakening. Blessed One, do not identify a thing that is awakened, that should be awakened, or that is awakening. Why is that? Blessed One, since no things are being mentally perceived, I do not have the thought, this thing is awakened, or this thing should be awakened, or this thing is awakening. This ends the chapter, Virtuous Friends, the 22nd chapter in the Noble Transcendent State of Wisdom in 8,000 lines. Oh, dear. Chapter 23, Shakra. At that time, Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, had alighted and taken his seat in that very assembly. Then Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, said to the Blessed One, Blessed One, this transcendent state of wisdom is profound. Blessed One, this transcendent state of wisdom is difficult to see and difficult to comprehend. At this, the Blessed One said to Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, True, Kaushika, it is true. Kaushika, this transcendent state of wisdom is profound. Alas, Kaushika, this transcendent state of wisdom is difficult to see and difficult to comprehend. This transcendent state of wisdom is profound, just as space is profound. It is difficult to see because it is void. It is difficult to comprehend because it is empty. At this chakra, powerful Lord of the gods, Blessed One, him beings will listen to this profound transcendent state of wisdom, and after listening to it, take it in, keep it in mind, chant it, master it, pass it on, teach it, expound it, explain it, recite it, and write it out. Then their root of virtue will not be trivial. At this, the Blessed One said to Chakra, powerful Lord of the gods, true, Kaushika, it is true. Kaushika, if sentient beings will listen to this profound transcendent state of wisdom, and after listening to it, take it in, keep it in mind, chant it, master it, pass it on, teach it, expound it, explain it, recite it, write it out, then their root of virtue will not be trivial. Kaushika, if as many sentient beings as there are now on the Jambu continent were all endowed with the 10 virtuous ways of acting, then what do you think, Kaushika? Based on this, would those sentient beings earn much merit? A great amount, Blessed One. A great amount, Sugata, said Chakra. The Blessed One said, yet Kaushika, more merit than that would be earned by a noble son or daughter who listens to this transcendent state of wisdom, and after listening to it, takes it in, keeps it in mind, chants it, masters it, passes it on, teaches it, expounds it, explains it, recites it, and writes it out. Any noble son or daughter who will listen to this profound transcendent state of wisdom, and after listening to it, take it in, keep it in mind, chant it, master it, pass it on, teach it, expound it, explain it, recite it, and write it out, will earn more merit than this. Kaushika, the amount of merit derived from the ethical discipline of all the past sentient beings on the Jambu continent does not come close in worth to even a fraction of this amount of merit. It does not come close in worth to 100th, 1,000th, 100,000th, 1/10 millionth, 1 billionth, 1/10 billionth, 1 trillionth, or even 1/10 trillionth of it. Nor is any calculation, any fraction, any quantification, any metaphor, any analogy, any equivalence, or any comparison adequate for comparing them. Any noble son or daughter who will listen to this profound transcendent state of wisdom, and after listening to it, take it in, keep it in mind, chant it, master it, pass it on, teach it, expound it, explain it, recite it, and write it out, will be endowed with such a root of virtue. Then another monk said to Chakra, powerful Lord of the gods, Kaushika, you are surpassed by any noble son or daughter who will listen to this profound transcendent state of wisdom, and after listening to it, take it in, keep it in mind, chant it, master it, pass it on, teach it, expound it, explain it, recite it, and write it out. At this, Chakra, powerful Lord of the gods, said to the monk, I am surpassed by any noble son or daughter who has developed the mindset even just once. What more is there to say about someone who will listen to this profound transcendent state of wisdom, and after listening to it, take it in, keep it in mind, chant it, master it, pass it on, teach it, expound it, explain it, recite it, and write it out? What more is there to say about those who, after having taken it in, kept it in mind, chanted it, mastered it, passed it on, taught it, expounded it, explained it, recited it, and written it out, will train to attain the actual nature, progress to attain the actual nature, and engage in meditation to attain the actual nature? Such a bodhisattva grade being surpasses the whole world with its gods, humans, and asuras. Such a bodhisattva grade being not only surpasses the whole world with its gods, humans, and asuras, but also surpasses all the stream enterers, once returners, worthy ones, and solitary realizers. Bodhisattva grade being not only surpasses the stream enterers, once returners, non-returners, worthy ones, and solitary realizers, but also surpasses all those who are extremely generous patrons, yet lack the transcendent state of wisdom and skill and means. Such a bodhisattva great being not only surpasses the extremely generous patrons who lack the transcendent state of wisdom, means surpasses all those with pure ethical discipline who possess a great amount of ethical discipline that is unbroken, flawless, stainless, perfect, purified, and faultless, yet lack the transcendent state of wisdom and skill and means. Such a bodhisattva great being not only surpasses those who possess a great amount of ethical discipline that is unbroken, flawless, stainless, perfect, purified, and faultless, but also surpasses all those perfectly equipped with tolerant acceptance and patience, who possess mindsets free of any hostility within and do not become vengeful even when their house has been burned down, yet lack the transcendent state of wisdom and skill and means. Such a bodhisattva great being not only surpasses those perfectly equipped with tolerant acceptance and patience, who possess mindsets free of any hostility, but also surpasses those who have applied themselves with heroic perseverance, without shirking their duty, without laziness, and without shrinking away from accomplishing positive physical, verbal, and mental karmic deeds, yet lack the transcendent state of wisdom and skill and means. Such a bodhisattva great being not only surpasses those who have applied themselves with heroic perseverance, without shirking their duty, without laziness, and without having shrunk away from the accomplishment of positive physical, verbal, and mental karmic deeds, but also surpasses all those pleased and delighted with meditative states, who possess strength and power in the meditative states, are stationed in the meditative states, and have mastered the meditative states. They lack the transcendent state of wisdom and skill and means. Indeed, such a bodhisattva great being surpasses the world with its gods, humans, and asuras simply by going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom as explicated. She also surpasses those without skill and means who belong to the paths of the disciples and solitary realizers. Such a bodhisattva great being is not surpassed by any of them. Why is that? It is because a bodhisattva great being who goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom and pursues it as explicated positions him or herself to not cause any interruption to the lineage of those who have complete knowing. Such a bodhisattva great being keeps him or herself not far from the Tathāgata. By conducting him or herself in this manner, it will not be long before this bodhisattva great being reaches the epicenter of awakening. This way, this bodhisattva great being will lift sentient beings out of the mud of the defilements that they are stuck in. In doing so, he or she will be engaged in the bodhisattva's training, not the trainings of the disciples or solitary realizers. Moreover, the four great kings, who are the guardians of the human world, will approach a bodhisattva great being training in this way and say, "Noble child, train immediately in the bodhisattva's way of going about life. Train with ease. These are the four begging bowls that you should receive once you are seated at the epicenter of awakening after realizing unsurpassed perfect awakening." Not only with those four great kings, who are the guardians of the human world, approach a bodhisattva great being training in the transcendent state of wisdom the way it is explicated, but also I myself, Blessed One, will approach that bodhisattva great being. Needless to say, those other gods will do the same. And the worthy, perfectly and completely awakened Tathāgatas will even constantly bring to mind that bodhisattva great being. Going about life in this way in the transcendent state of wisdom, this bodhisattva great being will encounter absolutely no worldly sufferings or attacks by others in any form or manner. This bodhisattva great being going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom will have this benefit even in this present life. Then the Venerable Ānanda thought, is Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, speaking through his own illumination or through the miraculous power of the Buddha? Then through the miraculous power of the Buddha, Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, knew in his mind what kind of mental rumination the Venerable Ānanda was having, and said to the Venerable Ānanda, Noble Ānanda, one should know this to be the miraculous power of the Buddha. Noble Ānanda, one should know this also to be the blessings of the Buddha. I myself am powerless to talk about such a bodhisattva great being. Then the Blessed One said to the Venerable Ānanda, so it is, Ānanda. It is just as Shakra, powerful Lord of the gods, has said. As Shakra said, it is due to the miraculous power of the Buddha and due to the blessings of the Buddha. This ends the chapter Shakra, the 23rd chapter in the Noble Transcendent State of Wisdom in 8,000 lines. Chapter 24, Conceitedness. Then, once again, the Blessed One addressed the Venerable Ānanda. Ānanda, whenever a bodhisattva great being is training in the transcendent state of wisdom, engaging in meditation in it, or cultivating it, Ānanda, at that time, all the pernicious maras in the billionfold great order world system fall into a state of uncertainty as to whether the bodhisattva great being will actualize the pinnacle of reality at the levels of the disciples or solitary realizers, or he or she will realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. Moreover, Ānanda, whenever a bodhisattva great being is abiding in the transcendent state of wisdom, at that time the pernicious maras feel deep pangs of grief. And Ānanda, whenever a bodhisattva great being is training in the transcendent state of wisdom, engaging in meditation in it, or cultivating it, those pernicious maras who harm bodhisattva great beings stir up fear by launching attacks of fiery meteors in all directions, or by creating the appearance that the horizon itself is on fire. These maras do so because they think that if they can cause any bodhisattva great being to become deflated or to bristle with fear, it will at least destroy the arising of one mindset aimed at unsurpassed perfect awakening. To this end, Ānanda, the pernicious Mara does not attack every bodhisattva great being with the deliberate intention to harm him or her. Rather, he attacks just some bodhisattva great beings, not others. Ānanda asked, Blessed One, what sort of bodhisattva great being does the pernicious Mara attack with the deliberate intention to harm him or her? The Blessed One said, Ānanda, if any bodhisattva great being, when he or she was previously discussing the transcendent state of wisdom, failed to develop a mindset with firm conviction in it, then the pernicious Mara would attack that bodhisattva great being with a deliberate intention to harm him or her and find any vulnerability. Furthermore, Ānanda, if any bodhisattva great being has become uncertain when the profound transcendent state of wisdom is being discussed, and is vacillating about whether this is or is not the transcendent state of wisdom, then the pernicious Mara attacks that bodhisattva great being with the deliberate intention to harm him or her and finds any vulnerability. Furthermore, Ānanda, suppose that a bodhisattva great being lacks a virtuous friend or has been taken in by an unvirtuous friend and does not listen to the extremely profound points when the profound transcendent state of wisdom is being discussed. By not listening, he or she does not understand. By not understanding, he or she does not ask the question about how one should cultivate the transcendent state of wisdom. The pernicious Mara also attacks that bodhisattva great being with the deliberate intention to harm him or her and finds any vulnerability. Suppose that a bodhisattva great being has relied on someone who cleaves to views that are against the genuine Dharma, thinking, he is my friend who never steers me wrong in any worldly affairs. I know many bodhisattva great beings and other friends, but none of them help me to fulfill my wishes. Whereas this friend that I have found is an example worth imitating. He will help me fulfill my wishes. Ānanda, the pernicious Mara, also attacks that bodhisattva great being with a deliberate intention to harm him or her and finds any vulnerability. Furthermore, Ānanda, suppose that when the profound transcendent state of wisdom is being discussed, a bodhisattva great being were to say to another bodhisattva, profound, this transcendent state of wisdom, what is the use of your listening to this? There is no applying oneself to it in the way that the Tathāgata taught in other sutras, and I myself do not find any bottom to it or enjoyment in it. So what is the use of your listening to that or writing that out? In this way, this bodhisattva great being causes other bodhisattva great beings to avoid it. Ānanda, the pernicious Mara, also, with a deliberate intention to harm, attacks that bodhisattva great being and finds any vulnerability. Furthermore, Ānanda, suppose that a bodhisattva great being criticizes other bodhisattvas, saying that he or she is abiding in a void state, whereas others are not abiding in a void state, and their voidness cannot be found anywhere. Ānanda, at the time when this happens, the pernicious Mara is pleased, cheerful, gladdened, delighted, and full of joy and satisfaction. His excited mindset is thrilled, overjoyed, and totally delighted. Why is that? Because the bodhisattva great being is getting further away from awakening. Furthermore, Ānanda, suppose that Mara mentions a bodhisattva great being's former names and lineage. Criticizing other graceful bodhisattvas with spiritual qualities. But he or she lacks those qualities, attributes, indications, and signs. In fact, he or she lacks any qualities of a bodhisattva great being beyond regressing, who is going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. Since he or she lacks these qualities beyond regressing, she gives rise to emotional defilements. In particular, he or she brags about him or herself and disparages others, saying, I am someone in whom such qualities appear, but those bodhisattvas are not. When this happens, the pernicious Mara thinks that the realms superintended by Mara will not be empty. They will be overcrowded. The great hell, hungry ghost, animal, and asura realms will all be overcrowded hordes. And the pernicious Mara will magically influence others, so that the bodhisattva great being who acts this way will be smothered with donations and tributes, and whatever they say will be accepted. Since what they say will be accepted, they will gather a following of many people, and a great multitude will think that they should listen to them and have faith in them. After seeing and hearing them speak, those people will fall into imitating him or her. Those who are imitating what is seen and heard will not train to attain the actual nature, not progress to attain the actual nature, and not engage in meditation to attain the actual nature. By not training to attain the actual nature, not progressing to attain the actual nature, and not engaging in meditation to attain the actual nature, their defilement will increase. Every physical, verbal, or mental action that they undertake will lead them further toward unadvised, undesired, unpleasing, and joyless states. Thus, the great hells will become extremely overcrowded. The great hell, hungry ghost, animal, and asura realms will all be overcrowded hordes. The realms superintended by Mara will be extremely overcrowded. Moreover, Ānanda, upon seeing his purpose fulfilled, the pernicious Mara becomes pleased, cheerful, gladdened, delighted, and full of joy and satisfaction. Furthermore, Ānanda, whenever such a bodhisattva great being fights with a person on the disciple path, quarrels with them, argues with them, scolds them, criticizes them, hurts them, or develops a grudge against them. The pernicious Mara thinks, no, good. This noble son or daughter is distancing from the state of complete knowing. He or she will be kept far away from the state of complete knowing. But if such a bodhisattva grade being fights with another person on the bodhisattva path, quarrels with them, argues with them, scolds them, criticizes them, hurts them, or develops a grudge against them, then the pernicious Mara becomes even more pleased, cheerful, gladdened, delighted, and full of joy and satisfaction about this. And he thinks, both these bodhisattvas will be kept extremely far away from the state of complete knowing. Ānanda, suppose that a foreordained bodhisattva grade being were to fight with an unforeordained bodhisattva grade being, quarrel with them, argue with them, scold them, criticize them, hurt them, develop a grudge against them, or develop a hostile mindset toward them. Assuming that such a bodhisattva grade being had not completely abandoned the state of complete knowing, he or she would need to don the armor for as many eons as there are moments in the arising of that mindset. At this, the Venerable Ānanda asked the Blessed One, Blessed One, is there some remedy for the arising of such mindsets, or would he or she need to don the armor for as many eons as there are moments in the arising of that mindset? The Blessed One said, Ānanda, the Dharma that I have taught for persons on the disciple path, the path of a solitary realizer, and the bodhisattva path includes a remedy. Among these, Ānanda, for a person on the bodhisattva path who fights with another person on the bodhisattva path, quarrels with them, argues with them, scolds them, criticizes them, hurts them, or develops a grudge against them, I have not included a remedy. If afterward such a bodhisattva grade being does not confess or practice restraint, while he or she just carries on with a negative propensity and remains bound up in it, Ānanda, it is inevitable that such a person would need to don the armor again and again for eons equal to that duration. However, Ānanda, I have included a remedy for any person on the bodhisattva path who, after fighting with another person on the bodhisattva path, quarreling with them, arguing with them, scolding them, criticizing them, hurting them, or developing a grudge against them, does confess and subsequently practices restraint by developing the proper mindset. In this, he or she would think, I should be helping all sentient beings diffuse, reflect upon, and pacify their arguments, disputes, and conflicts. Yet I myself am just quarreling. When I myself lash back against what is said to me, it is a loss for me, not a gain. I should be like a bridge for all sentient beings, but I still say to others, the same to you, and give a harsh or rough reply. I should never say even this. Toward fights, quarrels, and arguments, I should be like a dimwit, or like a person who cannot hear or speak. When hearing someone else speaking harsh, offensive, or bad words to me, I should not develop a hostile mindset. Concerning others, it is not good or proper of me to conceive of someone else's various faults. I think it is also not proper of me to even consider others' faults worth listening to. Why not? Because I should not spoil my altruistic disposition, because of which I should be helping all sentient beings become happy with every source of happiness. And after I have realized unsurpassed perfect awakening, I should bring them to complete nirvana. However, I am actually hurting them. I should not be hurtful even toward others who have greatly offended me, yet I become agitated. This I should not do. I should make a heroic effort to be firm in this resolution. Even when my life is being threatened, I should neither create any disturbance nor allow furrowed brows to appear on my face. Ānanda, this is the remedy that I teach for such a bodhisattva grade being. Also, Ānanda, a bodhisattva grade being would be restrained in this way toward a person on the disciple path, such that he or she would not get stirred up in the presence of any sentient being, but would be restrained just this way toward all sentient beings. And how would the Bodhisattva great being be restrained toward other persons belonging to the Bodhisattva path? Ānanda, the Bodhisattva great being would be restrained toward others in the same way he or she would be toward a teacher, thinking, "These Bodhisattva great beings are my teachers. Remember, these Bodhisattva great beings have ascended in the same vehicle that I have. Remember, they have climbed up the same path that I have. Remember, they have the same intentions that I have. Remember, they have set out on the same journey that I have. I should train in what they train in, and I should train in the exact same manner that they train. But if any of them will abide in a completely mixed up state, then I will not abide in a completely mixed up state. Yet, if they will abide in a completely unmixed up state, with their attentiveness connected to the state of complete knowing, then I will train in the same way. Ānanda, the Bodhisattva great beings who are training in the state of complete knowing in this way do not have obstacles to unsurpassed perfect awakening and quickly realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. This ends the chapter Conceitedness, the 24th chapter in the Noble Transcendent State of Wisdom in 8,000 lines. Chapter 25, the Training. Then the Venerable Subhuti asked the Blessed One, Blessed One, when a Bodhisattva great being trains in the state of complete knowing, what is he or she training in? The Blessed One said, when Subhuti, a Bodhisattva great being, is training in dissipation, then he or she trains in the state of complete knowing. And similarly, in the freedom from arising, in the freedom from cessation, in the freedom from birth, in the freedom from any state of being, in voidness, in the freedom from passion, in space, and in the ultimate realm of things. If Subhuti, a Bodhisattva great being, is training in nirvana, then he or she trains in the state of complete knowing. Subhuti asked, Blessed One, why does a Bodhisattva great being training in dissipation train in the state of complete knowing? Similarly, why does a Bodhisattva great being training in the freedom from arising, in the freedom from cessation, in the freedom from birth, in the freedom from any state of being, in voidness, in the freedom from passion, in space, and in the ultimate realm of things, and in nirvana, train in the state of complete knowing? At this, the Blessed One said to Subhuti, Subhuti, you asked the following. Why does a Bodhisattva great being training in dissipation train in the state of complete knowing? Similarly, why does a Bodhisattva great being training in the freedom from arising, in the freedom from cessation, in the freedom from birth, in the freedom from any state of being, in voidness, in the freedom from passion, in space, and in the ultimate realm of things, nirvana, train in the state of complete knowing? Subhuti, since the actual nature of a Tathāgata is what makes the Tathāgata a Tathāgata, what do you think? Does it dissipate? Definitely not, Blessed One, said Subhuti. Why not? Because, Blessed One, dissipation dissipates. Blessed One, it is because dissipation is undissipating. The Blessed One said, Subhuti, what do you think? Does the actual nature of a Tathāgata, that which makes the Tathāgata a Tathāgata, arise or cease? Is it born? Does it become anything? Does it disappear? Does it become void? Is it passionate or dispassionate? Does it become space? Does it become a thing? Definitely not, Blessed One, said Subhuti. The Blessed One asked, Subhuti, since the actual nature of a Tathāgata is what makes the Tathāgata a Tathāgata, what do you think? Does it attain complete nirvana? Definitely not, Blessed One, said Subhuti. Therefore, Subhuti, said the Blessed One, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way trains with the conviction that the actual nature does not dissipate. A bodhisattva grade being training in this way trains in the state of complete knowing. A bodhisattva grade being training in this way trains in the transcendent state of wisdom and trains in the level of a Buddha, the powers, the grounds for self-confidence, all the qualities of a Buddha, and the knowing of someone who has complete knowing. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way will reach the perfection of all trainings. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way cannot be overcome by Mara or his demon cohort. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way will quickly come to have the qualities beyond regressing. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way will quickly come to be seated at the epicenter of awakening. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way will quickly be going about life in his or her own field. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way trains in the qualities that make him or her a protector: great benevolence, great compassion, great rejoicing, and great impartiality. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way trains to set in motion the wheel of Dharma with its 3 sections containing 12 aspects. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way trains with the conviction that he or she will not leave the masses of sentient beings wanting. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way trains so that there is no interruption in the Tathāgata's lineage. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way trains with the conviction that he or she will open the door to the deathless dimension. Subhuti, an inferior sentient being is not capable to engage in such a noble training because a weak person cannot train in it. Why not? Subhuti, those who train in this training are the strongest among all sentient beings, Subhuti, because they wish to become the protectors of all sentient beings. Subhuti, those who train in it are wishing to obtain the highest state among all sentient beings. Thus, Subhuti, any bodhisattva grade being who trains like this is not reborn in the hells, animal births, the hungry ghost domain, or the asura assemblies. He or she is not reborn in the borderlands, the families of outcasts, or the families of fowlers, hunters, fishermen, sheep butchers, or similar kinds of low-class families, such as those involved in ignoble karmic deeds. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way does not become blind, deaf, one-eyed, deformed, or hunchbacked. He or she does not come to have crippled hands, knocked knees, paralysis, or a dim wit. He or she does not become unable to walk steadily, speak clearly, or hear well. He or she does not have disabled limbs, missing limbs, or disfigured limbs. He or she does not become weak, ugly, or physically deformed. He or she does not come to have inferior mental faculties or to lack any faculties. That is to say, he or she comes to have completely perfect faculties and a resonant voice. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way does not become a killer, a taker of what is not given, one who engages in improper sexual conduct, a liar, a slanderer, a speaker of harsh words, an incoherent gossip, someone who is covetous, someone who has a malevolent mindset, or holder of erroneous beliefs. He or she does not earn his or her living through any improper means of livelihood. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in this way is not reborn among the gods with long lives, does not adhere to faulty ethical disciplines, does not adhere to non-existent principles, and is not reborn by force of his or her meditative attainments. Why not? Because a bodhisattva grade being is endowed with the skill and means that he or she has, and hence he or she is not reborn among the gods with long lives. If you ask Subhuti, what does such a bodhisattva grade being's skill and means consist in? To be precise, it is just this transcendent state of wisdom. That is to say, the manner of having the skill and means by which a bodhisattva great being who attains the meditative states is not reborn by force of those meditative states is in the transcendent state of wisdom itself, and it is thus that he or she engages in meditative concentration with skill and means. Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being training in this way brings about the complete purity of the powers, the complete purity of the grounds for self-confidence, and the complete purity of all the qualities of a Buddha, and subsequently attains them all. The Venerable Subhuti asked, Blessed One, since all things are completely pure by their very nature, Blessed One, what thing could possess the complete purity of the powers, grounds for self-confidence, and all the qualities of a Buddha, which this Bodhisattva great being approaches and subsequently attains? At this, the Blessed One said to the Venerable Subhuti, True, Subhuti, true. Why is that? It is because all things are completely pure by their very nature. Thus, Subhuti, for a Bodhisattva great being training in the transcendent state of wisdom, the transcendent state of wisdom is the state of not being disheartened or deflated about all things being completely pure by nature. Subhuti, immature ordinary persons who do not know these things, do not know the true nature of things, and do not see it. Subhuti, it is for the sake of those sentient beings that Bodhisattva great beings are exerting themselves, undertaking heroic perseverance, and trained in this training with the conviction, we are the ones who will bring those sentient beings who do not know such things to know them. We are the ones who will bring those sentient beings who do not see this way to come to see them. Those Bodhisattva great beings who train with such a conviction attain the powers, the grounds for self-confidence, and all the qualities of a Buddha. Subhuti, the Bodhisattva great beings who train in this training wisely discern, just as they are, the mental wanderings and impulses of other persons and beings. By wisely discerning these just as they are, they perfect their knowledge of the mental wanderings of others. Subhuti, it is just as there are only a few areas on this earth without rock where gold and silver appear. However, there are many areas on this earth where there are saline deserts, wastelands, different grasses, craggy fissures, and thorny bushes. Likewise, Subhuti, there are only a few bodhisattva great beings among the multitude of sentient beings who train in this training of the state of complete knowing, namely, in the training of the transcendent state of wisdom. But there are many sentient beings among the multitude who train in the training of a disciple or solitary realizer. Furthermore, Subhuti, just as there are only a few sentient beings among the multitude of sentient beings who turn toward performing the karmic deeds conducive toward ruling as a universal emperor, however, many sentient beings among the multitude who turn toward performing the karmic deeds conducive toward becoming a regional king. Likewise, Subhuti, there are only a few bodhisattva great beings among the multitude of sentient beings who have climbed up the path, specifically the path of the transcendent state of wisdom, with the conviction that they will realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. But there are many sentient beings among the multitude who have climbed up the path of a disciple or solitary realizer. Furthermore, Subhuti, just as there are only a few sentient beings observed among the multitude of sentient beings who turn toward performing the karmic deeds conducive toward becoming Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, there are, however, many sentient beings among the multitude who turn toward performing the karmic deeds conducive toward the world of the gods. Likewise, Subhuti, there are only a few bodhisattva great beings among the multitude of sentient beings, transcendent state of wisdom. However, there are many sentient beings among the multitude of sentient beings who train in the training of a disciple or a solitary realizer. Furthermore, Subhuti, just as there are only a few sentient beings among the multitude who turn toward performing the karmic deeds conducive toward becoming Brahma, There are, however, many sentient beings among the multitude who turn toward performing the karmic deeds conducive toward belonging in Brahma's retinue. Likewise, Subhuti, there are only a few bodhisattva grade beings among the multitude who are beyond regressing from unsurpassed perfect awakening. However, there are many sentient beings among the multitude who turn away from unsurpassed perfect awakening. Therefore, Subhuti, there are only a few bodhisattva grade beings among the multitude of sentient beings who have set out for unsurpassed perfect awakening. And, Subhuti, among those, there are even fewer who progress along the path toward the actual nature. And, Subhuti, among those progressing along the path toward the actual nature, there are even fewer who engage in meditation in the transcendent state of wisdom. And, Subhuti, among those who engage in meditation in the transcendent state of wisdom, there are even fewer who are beyond regressing from unsurpassed perfect awakening. So, Subhuti, those bodhisattva grade beings who wish to be counted among the few bodhisattva grade beings beyond regressing should train in this very transcendent state of wisdom and engage in meditation in it. Furthermore, Subhuti, any bodhisattva grade being training in the transcendent state of wisdom in this way does not develop a mindset associated with mental obstructions, a mindset associated with doubt, a mindset associated with envy or jealousy, a mindset associated with unethical conduct, a mindset associated with malevolence, a mindset associated with laziness, a mindset associated with distraction, or a mindset associated with being unwise. For in this very way, Subhuti, when a bodhisattva grade being trains in the transcendent state of wisdom, he or she incorporates all the transcendent states, takes in all the transcendent states, pursues all the transcendent states, and includes all the transcendent states. Subhuti, just as the erroneous beliefs about the transitory collection include 62 erroneous beliefs, likewise, Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in the transcendent state of wisdom includes all the transcendent states. Just as the sustenance of a person's vital faculty includes all his or her faculties, likewise, Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in the transcendent state of wisdom includes all the virtuous indications. Subhuti, just as when a person's vital faculty has ceased, all the faculties cease. Likewise, Subhuti, when the ignorance of a bodhisattva grade being training in the transcendent state of wisdom has ceased, then all his or her unvirtuous indications cease, and all the transcendent states opposite of those are embraced. Therefore, Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being who wishes to embrace all the transcendent states should train in the transcendent state of wisdom. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being training in the transcendent state of wisdom trains in being the foremost among sentient beings. Why is that? Because he or she becomes foremost in merit. So, Subhuti, what do you think? If one takes together all the sentient beings in a billion-fold great order world system, are they numerous? Subhuti said, Blessed One, sentient beings on the Jambu continent alone are numerous. So what more can be said about those sentient beings in a billion-fold great order world system? The Blessed One said, Subhuti, suppose that a bodhisattva grade being were to continue throughout his or her whole life to take care of all sentient beings by providing them with robes, alms, accommodation, preventive medicines and remedies, other requisites, and all the means for happiness. Then what do you think, Subhuti? Would he or she earn much merit based on this? A great amount, Blessed One. A great amount, Sugata, said Subhuti. Subhuti, based on this, any bodhisattva grade being who cultivates this transcendent state of wisdom for even just a mere finger snap would earn more merit, said the Blessed One. Why is that? Subhuti, it is because in this way, the transcendent state of wisdom is extremely effective for the bodhisattva grade being to bring forth unsurpassed perfect awakening. Bodhisattva grade being should train in the transcendent state of wisdom if he or she wishes to realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. wishes to become unsurpassed among all sentient beings, wishes to be a protector for all sentient beings without a protector, wishes to reach the domain of a Buddha, wishes to pursue the great majesty of a Buddha, wishes to manifest the playful display of a Buddha, wishes to roar the lion's roar of a Buddha, wishes to obtain the obtainments of a Buddha, and wishes to give Dharma teachings to the billionfold great order world system. Subhuti, I do not see any attainment that a bodhisattva great being training in the transcendent state of wisdom is not training in. Subhuti asked, but Blessed One, does a bodhisattva great being train even in the attainment of a disciple? The Blessed One said, Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being trains even in the attainment of a disciple. However, that bodhisattva great being trains with the notion that he or she will not come to abide in the attainment of the disciple, or at least he or she does not train thinking that he or she will come to have the attainment. Such a bodhisattva is aware of the qualities of a disciple, but does not get stuck in them. For this reason, he or she fully understands those qualities, does not reject them, and trains with the notion that he or she should teach and elucidate them to others. Subhuti, any bodhisattva great being training in this way becomes worthy of veneration by the world with its gods, humans, and asuras. Subhuti, any bodhisattva great being training in this way surpasses all other venerable ones among the disciples of solitary realizers, and he or she approaches the state of complete knowing. Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being training in this way does not give up the transcendent state of wisdom, goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom, and is never lacking the abiding in the transcendent state of wisdom. Subhuti, a bodhisattva great being going about life in this way, should be known as someone who does not waste the teachings. Such a bodhisattva great being distances him or herself from the levels of a disciple and solitary realizer, but approaches unsurpassed perfect awakening. However, a bodhisattva great being might have the conception, this transcendent state of wisdom will develop the state of complete knowing. In that case, he or she does not go about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. On the other hand, if he or she does not even conceive of that transcendent state of wisdom by thinking, this is the transcendent state of wisdom, this has the transcendent state of wisdom, or this will develop the state of complete knowing, then this bodhisattva great being does not conceive of it or identify it even as such. So if the bodhisattva great being goes about life in this way, then he or she goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. This ends the chapter, the training, the 25th chapter in the noble transcendent state of wisdom in 8,000 lines. Chapter 26, The Magical Illusion. Then Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, thought to himself, if a bodhisattva great being surpasses all sentient beings even just by going about his or her life, then how much more so after he or she realizes unsurpassed perfect awakening? If those sentient beings whose mindset takes a step toward the state of complete knowing profit greatly and live their lives well, then how much more so once they develop the mindset for unsurpassed perfect awakening? Such sentient beings, who are the strongest among sentient beings, are enviable, since they will realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. Then Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, magically created heavenly Mandarava flowers, cupped the flowers together with his hands folded in reverence, then showered them down upon the worthy, perfectly and completely awakened Tathāgata, and spoke these words. Those persons on the Bodhisattva path who have developed the proper mindset for unsurpassed perfect awakening think, we will realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. After doing so, all sentient beings adrift in the ocean of cyclic existence, we will deliver to the smooth shore at the other side. May they be successful in this. May they come to fulfill these very qualities of a Buddha, that their development of the proper mindset desired, fully considered, and fully embraced. May they fulfill these very same qualities of the state of complete knowing. May they fulfill these very same qualities of a self-existent being. May they fulfill these very qualities that cannot be led astray. Blessed One, I do not develop even a single mindset, imagining that those extremely compassionate bodhisattva grade beings might turn away from the unsurpassed perfect awakening. Blessed One, I do not develop even a single mindset, imagining that those persons on the bodhisattva path who have set out for unsurpassed perfect awakening might turn away from it. Rather, those bodhisattva grade beings who see these sufferings in the realm of psychic existence will give rise to an even greater aspiration for unsurpassed perfect awakening. Why is that? It is because those who have developed such mindsets very compassionately feel sympathy for the world with its gods, humans, and asuras, and wish for its benefit and welfare. They continue to develop that mindset, thinking, having escaped, how indeed should we help sentient beings escape? Having been liberated, how indeed should we help liberate them? Having found relief, how indeed should we help them find relief? Having attained complete nirvana, how indeed should we help them attain complete nirvana? Blessed One, Noble daughter, rejoices that those bodhisattva grade beings who have first set out upon the path have developed the proper mindset. If he or she rejoices that those beyond regressing possess the qualities beyond regressing, and if he or she rejoices that those bound for one more birth possess the qualities of being bound for one more birth, then, Blessed One, how much merit would that noble son or daughter earn? At this, the Blessed One said to Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, Kaushika, by comparing Meru, the king of mountains, with the tip of a piece of straw, one might still be able to grasp its size. But Kaushika, one would never be able to grasp the amount of merit in the development of the mindset associated with a noble son or daughter's rejoicing for those bodhisattva great beings. Kaushika, by comparing a world system with 4 great continents with the tip of a piece of straw, one might still be able to grasp its size. But Kaushika, one would never be able to grasp the amount of merit in the development of the mindset associated with a noble son or daughter's rejoicing for those bodhisattva great beings. Kaushika, by comparing a 1,000-fold lesser order world system with the tip of a piece of straw, one might still be able to grasp its size. But Kaushika, one would never be able to grasp the amount of merit in the development of the mindset associated with a noble son or daughter's rejoicing for those bodhisattva great beings. Kaushika, by comparing a 1,000,000-fold medium order world system with the tip of a piece of straw, one might still be able to grasp its size. But Kaushika, one would never be able to grasp the amount of merit in the development of the mindset associated with the noble son or daughter's rejoicing for bodhisattva great beings. By comparing Kaushika, one would never be able to grasp the amount of merit in the development of the mindset associated with a noble son or daughter's rejoicing for those bodhisattva great beings. At this, Shakra, powerful lord of the gods, said to the Blessed One, Blessed One, there is immeasurable merit in developing the mindset associated with rejoicing for Bodhisattva great beings, beginning from their first development of the proper mindset up to their having realized unsurpassed perfect awakening. But if sentient beings do not listen to this fact, do not understand it, do not see it, do not keep that rejoicing in mind, then those sentient beings are under Mara's magical influence. Blessed One, by not rejoicing in those Bodhisattva great beings' development of the proper mindset, these sentient beings will become members of Mara's demon cohort. Blessed One, by not rejoicing in those Bodhisattva great beings' development of the proper mindset, these sentient beings will also fall into Mara's realms. Why is that? Because, Blessed One, when they dedicate such developments of the proper mindset to unsurpassed perfect awakening, and rejoice in these developments of the proper mindset, they accomplish these developments of the proper mindset to destroy Mara's realms. Blessed one should rejoice that those Bodhisattva grade beings who have developed the proper mindset for unsurpassed perfect awakening have developed this mindset. Blessed one should rejoice in the development of this mindset by those noble sons and daughters who have not abandoned the Tathāgata, the Dharma, or the Saṅgha. At this, the Blessed One said to Shakra, powerful Lord of the gods, "True, Kaushika, true. Kaushika, one should rejoice in the development of this mindset by those noble sons and daughters who have not abandoned the Tathāgata, the Dharma, or the Saṅgha." Kaushika, whether on the Bodhisattva path, the path of a solitary realizer, or the disciple path, any noble sons or daughters who rejoice in the development of such a mindset will quickly please the worthy, perfectly, and completely awakened Tathāgatas rather than displease them. At this, Shakra, powerful Lord of the gods, said to the Blessed One, "So they will, Blessed One, so they will." Whether on the Bodhisattva path, the path of a solitary realizer, or the disciple path, any noble sons or daughters who rejoice in the development of such a mindset will quickly please the worthy, perfectly, and completely awakened Tathāgatas rather than displease them. Wherever these noble sons and daughters are reborn, they will be paid tribute to, revered, respected, venerated, honored, as a result of these roots of virtue, from their having developed the mindset associated with rejoicing. They will not see unpleasant sights. They will not hear unpleasant sounds. They will not smell unpleasant scents. They will not taste unpleasant flavors. They will not touch unpleasant tactile objects. They can also anticipate being born in the heaven realm rather than being reborn in the lower realms. Why is that? It is because when those noble sons or daughters first develop their aspiration, rejoice in the developments of the proper mindset of persons on the Bodhisattva path to awakening, they are rejoicing in the roots of virtue of immeasurable and innumerable sentient beings that lead all those beings to happiness. As their developments of the proper mindset grow, they will bring forth unsurpassed perfect awakening. And after they realize unsurpassed perfect awakening, they will help immeasurable and innumerable sentient beings to attain complete nirvana. True, Kaushika, true, said the Blessed One. It is just the way you have verbally articulated it through the miraculous power of the Tathāgata. Kaushika, when any noble son or daughter rejoices in the developments of the proper mindset by persons on the Bodhisattva path, then, by doing so in this manner, he or she not only rejoices in the roots of virtue of immeasurable and innumerable sentient beings, but also plants them and accomplishes them. Subhuti asked, "But, Blessed One, how can a mindset that is like a magical illusion realize unsurpassed perfect awakening?" At this, the Blessed One asked, "Subhuti, what do you think? Do you identify a mindset that is like a magical illusion?" "Definitely not, Blessed One," said Subhuti. At this, the Blessed One asked, "Subhuti, what do you think? Do you identify a magical illusion?" "Definitely not, Blessed One," said Subhuti. "I do not identify a mindset that is like a magical illusion, nor do I identify a magical illusion." The Blessed One asked, Subhuti, what do you think? When you do not identify an illusion-like mindset or a magical illusion, do you identify that thing that realizes unsurpassed perfect awakening as something other than a magical illusion or other than an illusion-like mindset? Definitely not, Blessed One, said Subhuti. I do not identify that thing that realizes unsurpassed perfect awakening as something other than a magical illusion or other than an illusion-like mindset. Blessed One, since I myself am not identifying that thing that realizes unsurpassed perfect awakening as something other than a magical illusion or other than an illusion-like mindset, what thing could I point to as being there or not there? Also, it cannot be specified whether an absolutely void thing is there or not there, or whether an absolutely void thing realizes unsurpassed perfect awakening. Why is that? Because, Blessed One, a thing that cannot be found to exist cannot realize unsurpassed perfect awakening. So, Blessed One, the transcendent state of wisdom is absolutely void, and that thing that is absolutely void cannot be cultivated, nor can it either produce or accomplish anything. Blessed One, how could a bodhisattva great being realize unsurpassed perfect awakening as a result of a transcendent state of wisdom that is absolutely void? Blessed One, even unsurpassed perfect awakening is absolutely void. And, Blessed One, if even the transcendent state of wisdom is absolutely void, and if even unsurpassed perfect awakening is absolutely void, then, Blessed One, how could a void be realized by a void? At this, the Blessed One said to Subhuti, Excellent, Subhuti, excellent. You are right, Subhuti, you are right. The transcendent state of wisdom is absolutely void, and unsurpassed perfect awakening is absolutely void. Subhuti, it is only because the transcendent state of wisdom is absolutely void that unsurpassed perfect awakening is realized as absolutely void. Subhuti, if a bodhisattva grade being conceives of the notion the transcendent state of wisdom is absolutely void, then it would not be the transcendent state of wisdom. Thus, Subhuti, it is certain both that unsurpassed perfect awakening is realized depending upon the transcendent state of wisdom, and also, Subhuti, that unsurpassed perfect awakening is not realized depending upon the transcendent state of wisdom. Nevertheless, although voidness is not realized by voidness, a bodhisattva grade being does realize unsurpassed perfect awakening, but not without depending upon the transcendent state of wisdom. Subhuti said, Blessed One, as I understand the point of what the Blessed One has just taught, Blessed One, a bodhisattva grade being is going about life in the profound point. Yes, Subhuti, that is true, said the Blessed One. A bodhisattva grade being is going about life in the profound point. Subhuti, a bodhisattva grade being performs difficult noble deeds, goes about life in the profound point, and does not actualize that point at the level of a disciple or a solitary realizer. Subhuti said, Blessed One, as I understand the point of what the Blessed One has just said, there is no bodhisattva grade being performing difficult noble deeds. Why not? Because, Blessed one cannot mentally perceive anything that actualizes something, anything that is actualized by it, or anything that serves as a means to actualize that. Blessed One, when this is described, if a bodhisattva grade being does not become disheartened, deflated, depressed, discouraged, frightened, terrified, or stricken with terror, then he or she goes about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. If he or she does not identify the conception, I am going about my life, then he or she is going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. If such a bodhisattva grade being does not identify the conception, I am close to unsurpassed perfect awakening, then in this way too, he or she is going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom. If such a bodhisattva grade being does not have the conception, I am far from the level of a disciple or the level of a solitary realizer, then in this way too, he or she is going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom.
Blessed One, it is just, for instance, like space, which does not have the conception, I am close to something, or I am far from something. Why not? Because, Blessed One, space is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, in this very way, that Bodhisattva grade being going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom does not have the conception, I am close to unsurpassed perfect awakening, or I am far from the level of a disciple or the level of a solitary realizer. Why not? Because, Blessed One, the transcendent state of wisdom is beyond conceptualization. Blessed One, it is just, for instance, like the fact that an illusory person does not have the conception, I am close to the magical illusionist, but I am far from that crowd that has assembled. Why not? Because, Blessed One, an illusory person is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, in this very way, a bodhisattva grade being going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom does not think, I am close to unsurpassed perfect awakening, or I am far from the level of a disciple or the level of a solitary realizer. Why not? Because, Blessed One, the transcendent state of wisdom is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, it is just, for instance, like the fact that a reflection does not have the conception, I am close to that object, because of which the reflection arises, but I am far from those who do not come close here, in the mirror or on the surface of the water. Why not? Because, Blessed One, a reflection is free, being conceptualized as such. Blessed One, in this very way, it does not occur to a bodhisattva grade being going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom, I am close to unsurpassed perfect awakening, far from the level of a disciple or the level of a solitary realizer. Why not? Because, Blessed One, the transcendent state of wisdom is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, it is just, for instance, like the fact that a delightful thing or an undelightful thing is not found in the Tathāgata. Why not? Because, Blessed One, the Tathāgata has exhausted all fabrications and conceptualizations. Blessed One, in this very way, something delightful or not delightful is not found in the Tathāgata. Why not? Because, Blessed One, the transcendent state of wisdom is free of conceptualization, since, Blessed One, the transcendent state of wisdom has exhausted all fabrications and conceptualizations exactly as the Tathāgata has exhausted all fabrications and conceptualizations. Blessed One, it is just, for instance, like the fact that a miraculous creation created by the worthy, perfectly and completely awakened Tathāgata does not have the conception, I am far from the level of a disciple or the level of a solitary realizer, or I am close to unsurpassed perfect awakening. Why not? Because, Blessed One, a miraculous creation is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, in this very way, a bodhisattva great being going about life in the transcendent state of wisdom does not think, I am close to unsurpassed perfect awakening, or I am far from the level of a disciple or the level of a solitary realizer. Why not? Because, Blessed One, the transcendent state of wisdom is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, it is just, for instance, like when a Tathāgata's miraculous creation has been created to do a task, and it does that task, but that miraculous creation is free of conceptualization. Why? Because a miraculous creation is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, in this very way, a bodhisattva grade being cultivates the transcendent state of wisdom for the sake of a task, and he or she does that task, but the transcendent state of wisdom is free of conceptualization. Why? Because, Blessed One, the transcendent state of wisdom is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, it is just, for instance, like the fact that a skilled carpenter or an apprentice carpenter might have made a wooden man or woman and connected it to strings. It might do the task for which it was made, but that slapped-together wood is free of conceptualization. Why? Because slapped-together wood is free of conceptualization. Blessed One, in this very way, a bodhisattva grade being cultivates the transcendent state of wisdom for the sake of a task and does that task, But the transcendent state of wisdom is free of conceptualization. Why? Because, Blessed One, this transcendent state of wisdom is free of any conceptualization at all. This ends the chapter, The Magical Illusion, 26th chapter, this noble transcendent state of wisdom in 8,000 lines.
Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of Guru Buddha, that we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May the born have no decline, but increase forevermore.
Of the dedication to remove obstacles. Just as long ago, the king of the gods, Indra, by the power and strength of contemplating the profound meaning of the Prajnaparamita, the Great Mother, and reciting its words, was able to avert the mnemonic forces of negativity. In the very same way, may we too, through the power and strength of contemplating the profound meaning of the Prajnaparamita, the Great Mother, and reciting its words, avert all the negative influences that prevent us and those around us from accomplishing the noble Dharma. May they be annihilated, may they be rendered, may they be completely pacified.
We can all rise to respectfully wait for our teachers to depart. However, we invite everyone online especially to stay with us as we have Xiao Hong and Jolene coming up to give a special message to everyone. Xiao Hong and Jolene, you can come on up. So these are two of our friends who have traveled all the way from Singapore for this event and to spend some time with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, venerables, brothers and sisters in the Dharma, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Xiao Hong.
I'm Jolene
We are from the Friends of Sravasti Abbey, Singapore.
trying to coordinate.
On behalf of Sravasti Abbey, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to 84,000 for translating the words of the Buddha, Venerable Koncho Nobi, volunteers and everyone who has contributed to making this extraordinary 4-day resounding retreat on the noble transcendent state of wisdom in 8,000 lines possible. Venerable children told us that this is the first recitation of the transcendent state of wisdom in English, and it will be very precious to us, to our practice, if we can participate in it. That is why we are here. And we feel deeply fortunate to have spent the past 4 days immersed in the recitation, study, and contemplation of one of the most profound teachings of the Buddha.
Please, do you understand all the recitation?
I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I really don't understand.
Actually, same here, okay? I'm sure a lot of us here is just like you, but that's fine because Venerable said to us before we came, come, just plant the seeds, plant the seeds. So we are all here to plant the seed of our wisdom. For eons to come, we will attain Nirvana. Okay, so keep going, all right? All right, so I think in the recitation, Venerable said, what do you learn? I said, good question, right? So I said, a lot of things are repeated in the text, right, during the recitation. So a few things that kind of reminded me. The first one is the 6 paramitas. And although the translation is a bit slightly different, it gave me some time to understand why they are translated that way. So maybe I asked Venerable, why is that translation different? And also the 5 aggregates. I think it's repeated many, many times in the text, especially the word transcendental wisdom, states of wisdom, which actually to us is more like the 6th perfection, right? So why 6th perfection becomes the 6 transcendental states of wisdom? I think that is a very interesting point to actually ponder. I think these are enough for us to plant our seeds, to go a bit, crazy and think about it for the next few days. All right. So today, I think it's a very special day. It's called Vesak Day for us. In Singapore, we call that Vesak Day. Okay. And it's also the most sacred day in the Buddhist calendar. Why is that so? We commemorate the birth, the enlightenment, and the parinirvana of Shakyamuni Buddha. All right. Okay. Now, according to the tradition, during this day is a merit multiplying day, where wholesome actions, Dharma study, recitation, offering, and acts of compassionate generate immeasurable merit. We love merit, okay? Especially Asian. Merit is like deposit in the bank, okay? That's how we think. But okay, it's more than that. That kind of motivate us in our generosity too, So we're very fortunate that we can conclude this retreat in such a very auspicious day. We'd like to express our sincere appreciation to 84,000. I mean, they're not here, but I think they can feel us from afar. All right, for your very noble mission of translating and preserving the Buddha's words for very, very long time and for future generations to come, for many, many eons to come, I'll say that. Through your dedication and tireless efforts, these precious teachings are made accessible to practitioners around the world, ensuring that the wisdom of the Buddha continues to illuminate countless beings. So a very, very, very special thank you to Venerable Kongtrek Nobu. Thank you so much, all right, for your guidance throughout these 4 days. Your teachings have helped us deepen our understanding of the Prajnaparamita tradition, the Heart Sutra, and the profound meaning of emptiness. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And at the Abbey, it started with just Venerable and 2 cats. And then slowly we have Venerable Thapa, Venerable Samke, Venerable Choni, Venerable Chitme, and more. And now we have 22 monastics. Right?
Yeah. It's right?
Okay. 20
That's a
plus
good guess,
monastics
sis.
and more
We
to
went
come.
around counting.
Yeah. And we started with just Ānanda Hall and the meditation hall. And then suddenly we have this Gautami House, Music Hall, and now the Buddha Hall. How does all this come about? It's all through the generosity of people around the world who make this happen. And for many of us who travel from Singapore, this retreat has been a deeply enriching, inspiring experience. We came seeking for knowledge, but we leave with much more. A renewed appreciation of the Buddha's teaching, a deeper connection to the path of wisdom, and a stronger aspiration to benefit others.
So on this auspicious day, right? So we're here to accumulate our merit. So if the teachings have touched your hearts, just like you've touched ours, all right, and deepen your understanding, although it brings some confusion, but that's good, you know. Good confusion brings better understanding. Perhaps one of the best way, right, to express your gratitude is a little donation and your generosity. And on behalf of Vosas, all right, we're going to be the first, all right, okay. There are two donate. Oh, that's right, brother. That's what I was looking. How come the sign is gone? Okay, so you must check out for this 84,000. I think it's going to be here. Okay, yeah, do it. So it's an improvised donation box, as you can see. Okay, so there are two donation boxes out there: 84,000 and Sravasti Abbey at the entrance of the Buddha Hall. So by supporting this translation and dissemination of the Buddha's teaching, we become part of this very extraordinary lineage of preserving the Dharma for the benefit for the countless beings for eons to come. Today is Vesak Day. Do all you can, all right? A little means a lot, okay? All right. Now, for those who wants to offer your dana to Venerable Kongchok Nobu, or even want to offer dana directly to Venerable Children, you'll be able to do so at the end of the teaching tonight. Okay, so.
And before we end, we'd like to share this. May His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Venerable Kongchok Nobu, Venerable Children, Venerable Kadro, and all our teachers have long life, good health, and every success in guiding sentient beings on the path to unsurpassed perfect awakening.
We improvised the word awakening because of the text.
May
Okay?
the
Next time, don't say awakening. You must say unsurpassed, perfect. Can we repeat that again? Unsurpassed, perfect awakening. Yes, very good, students. Huh? May the noble activities of Sravasti Abbey and the 84,000 continue to grow and benefit countless beings. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the